The last 6 months have been some of the hardest of my life. My husband lost his job. I miscarried our third child at 11 weeks. Finances have been suffocating, and both of our new jobs have been stressful. I've tried to hold everything together. Our family, our home, myself. But now I don't even know if my marriage can survive. During the miscarriage, I was in excruciating pain and bleeding heavily for 8 days. I drove him to work every day because he doesn't drive. I went to hospital scans alone, sobbed in school parking lots after meetings with teachers, and cried myself to sleep most nights. And my husband? He gave me 2 hugs and said, "It's a bit sad." That was it. I kept going because life doesn't stop when you're a mom and a wife. But it hurt, his absence hurt. Then came Mother's Day weekend. He promised me he'd let me sleep in for once. Instead, he came home drunk at 4 a.m., passed out on the sofa, and didn't even acknowledge the day. I bought myself flowers on the way to lunch with my mom. Later, when I calmly told him I felt let down, he apologized briefly, and that was that. But this week broke something inside me. On Thursday evening, he had a complete meltdown, screaming at me over a pan I was washing. His rage was terrifying. I backed away in shock as he kept yelling on and on. Our 2 little boys were in the room, scared out of their minds. My youngest yelled at him to stop shouting at Mummy, but then he turned his anger on them. That's when I snapped out of my fear, stood between him and the kids, and yelled back. I took our children to his sister's house for a few hours to escape. When we got back home, silence. No apology, just nothing. The next day, he sent me a long apology message that didn't even sound like him. It felt cold and robotic, like something AI could have written. I told him we needed to talk face-to-face because I was emotionally drained and couldn't keep being the one who fixes everything between us. That evening, we did talk. He said all the right things, apologized sincerely, admitted he didn't know what was wrong with him, and promised we'd focus on rebuilding our relationship. I wanted to believe him, but last night shattered that hope. He said he'd forgotten it was his friend's birthday, a 40-year-old man, and left within 10 minutes with a bottle of wine to celebrate. Something felt off about it, but I let him go. I'm not his keeper. By 2 a.m., he still wasn't home. No messages or calls answered. By morning, panic set in as I imagined the worst. Maybe something had happened to him. I loaded the kids into the car and drove along the most likely route between our house and his friend's place, scanning the sides of the road for any sign of him, praying he wasn't hurt or worse. When we arrived at his friend's house, it looked like a drug den. Music blaring, substances being smoked openly outside. His friend brought him out to me. My husband looked awful, messy clothes, avoiding eye contact, and his pupils were blown wide like saucers. I felt relief that he was alive, but rage at what he'd done, not just to me, but to our children by exposing them to this nightmare. When we got home, I yelled at him for worrying me sick and reminded him that he's supposed to be a husband and father, not whatever mess this is. He admitted later that he'd taken some pill, but didn't even know what it was. I couldn't let him stay in the house while coming down from God knows what drug. Not after his explosive anger earlier this week, with the kids present. So I called his sister to pick him up. Now I don't even know who my husband is anymore, or if this marriage can be saved.